Anyway, my name's Ruth Medworth. I graduated from a small town in southern Indiana in the 70s. Went to Indiana State to be a physical education teacher because I thought that was the best way that I could become a color guard director. I thought I wanted to be, well, in those times it was called drill team. And so that's what I thought I wanted to do for a job, so I went there, did that. Had an excellent marching band program at the time, and had a great band director and a great color guard director, and really went ahead and thought, this is what I want to do, and through those connections and, got these kind of jobs and, lots of things. And so a lot of times people think that maybe you can't make a living at the things that we all do, but you actually can do that one way or the other. So I've been very fortunate. I've had a great career, and after Indiana State then, I actually did the cheerleaders at Indiana State for a long time, plus I did color guard at a local high school, helped with the university program, and then my high school has been a competitive high school winter guard, world-class guard in WGI, and so we've done a lot of things there. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything. We have a middle school program, and I think Pete Kicht is going to come in. He helps with that. He's going to talk about that, how to put that together maybe tomorrow. And so we've kind of had a broad range, plus we're coming from a very small town and trying to make this happen without much. You're out in the middle of a cornfield trying to figure out how to get the money and how you're going to do it and how you're going to keep up with people and how are you going to have everybody, our school is 1,000, so I know it's a lot. That might not be small. But for all of us that have, and I'm so thankful for girls' athletics and all the opportunities that girls have, but there are so many now that it has really pulled the pool apart. So there's not as many people to do these programs. So, trying to keep that going over the years. I think at this particular school, I've been there 39 years, and if you stay there long enough, you're going to have some fantastic years, and you're going to have some that are a little questionable. And so, but sometimes you have to stick that out to make it happen. And we were just fortunate enough that we decided we wanted to stay there. And I know other people's lives change; they move into different situations, and but you can make it happen. The kids are the same everywhere. They just want somebody to care about them and try to give them the very best that they can. So I was just going to start out with maybe how we put the program together at the beginning of the year. And I'll just go through it, and then maybe you might have some questions as we go or some things. We have several handouts that I think Barry's going to put into a Dropbox situation rather than make a lot of handouts. Then that way you could pull out the ones that you really want out of the ones that I've got, and then also maybe with Pete's, and then Bob's coming in sometime, I think maybe later today, to give some information. So we start out the year with posters and all those kind of things that we try to get people that are interested. It's sometimes hard to have people try out in the high school because since we have a middle school program, a girl said to me this year, well, I didn't do it in middle school, I can't make it. And that's just not true. We all practice enough that we can teach anybody whatever it is they need to do to be a part of a program, most generally. So I think that there's two things. One, to recruit to the middle school kids, and two, to make sure that that you keep trying to bring in new people, and that for somehow that they feel like that they're capable of doing it. Because once they see people that are pretty skilled in that activity, it makes them think that they can't. So we start out trying to do recruiting. I teach physical education in the school, so there's always people I haven't ever seen before. Hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And we're pretty heavy into winter guard season, so we can't really have, and we're a one gym school. And they are really good to us, and they share. We go off site to another gym, but it's not like you can just say, hey, stay after school and we'll practice, because there's no place to do that. Because there's the auditorium, and you could use small groups there, but then, there's play practice or other things that are happening there. And then there's always something immediately after school in the gym. If it's not girls basketball or boys basketball, it's softball or baseball, and track goes up on a deck, and so everybody's really using that area. So that's hard to work in. I think that would be a great way to encourage people, is that maybe throughout the year you had some workshops that weren't really tryouts. For us, it's kind of crammed in, so you kind of have to go for it. because we don't really have the facility to have a lot of extra rehearsals. So, but I think that would be a great way to encourage people to be a part of it. Once we start tryouts, we have workshops, and I know a lot of people will have those workshops that they start out and they basically take everybody, and then maybe they eliminate people as they go and say, you know, thank you, you know, maybe you need to practice more, and then kind of, you know, survival of the fittest at the end. I'm still fairly a traditionalist, where we actually have a night that they know that they're auditioning. I personally don't really do the judging. I bring in people that I feel confident that know what it is that we need. And so they do a judging. We don't really take scores and totally add those up every time. We judge, we have a scoring sheet, we have a scale. They judge their sheets, and then we will take the applications and try to figure out, do we think this person can do this? So it's a little more of a selection committee as opposed to an actual tryout, just adding up the numbers. Now, hopefully, if they have used their notes correctly, your numbers are going to work out. It's not going to be, because, you know, you're always going to have somebody that comes in after tryouts. They want to see their scores. And so it's really important, I think, that the judges do put down scores and or comments so that you can tell the student, here's what they need. Or usually it's the parent. And, you know, okay, parent, bring your kid too, and let's take a look at this and see what they need to do to improve on that. Now, on the other part of that, we try to take everybody that we possibly think can do this and not run them off. You know, we would rather work with them, and because we know they're going to get better if they're with us than if they're not with us at all. So I had one girl, she hadn't ever done this. She had been in the band. She decided she wasn't coordinated enough to play clarinet and be in march, but she thought she could do color guard. So you know, okay, great, all right, come on, let's do this. And so she came and practiced with us, because we had already had our auditions. She came and practiced with us for almost 2 weeks. And at the end of it, then I told her, I said, you know, and all along I said, these people have had other skills, so you can't get discouraged. They've practiced on this, and you can't just think that it's going to come in 1 week. If you really want to do this, we'll help you get this done, and you can be good at this. And after the couple weeks, she said, well, no, I think I'll practice and I'll come back next year. And okay, that's great. I said, but I'm offering you the opportunity to practice with us right now. And that's hard. You know, the chances are she won't come back. But, you know, I was trying to get her to, because if they want to come and learn, I think that's a great opportunity, especially in the small situation. We put out posters. We put it in the local newspaper. We put announcements on at school. We do emails. The emails that I do is, one of our fundraisers is that we have a big clinic that we do. We call it a clinic, a dance clinic, in January or February. They come in for a day. We teach them a routine according to the grade. So we have like a K and a 1, a 2 and a 3, a 4 and a 5, and then 6, 7, and 8. And so then we do like a combination routine. You know, one comes in, does a part, and they dance off as another one's coming on. Then everybody's out there for the end of the show. So through that, a lot of people have done this from kindergarten all the way up till they get in middle school. And through that, I've gotten their emails. And so then we try to, you know, send out some blasts like, we're having the clinic again, or, you know, for those people that are old enough, tryouts are coming up. So we hope that, you know, so that's one way that we get a hold of their names so that we can try to make sure that they know about tryouts. Because even though you might take things out to the middle schools to tell them that certain tryouts are coming out, you're not always guaranteed that that's going to get out. We also do something like that where the ones that we know that are possibly interested, like maybe the high school girls will write a note and we'll mail out a note on that. So that's kind of how we prepare for our tryouts. Then I actually have the high school seniors help me with teaching. They, through the year, we kind of have some opportunities where they can do some choreography. But for this, we try to split up. And then I have some other instructors that kind of help direct that a little bit. But that gives them an opportunity to teach. It gives the girls that are, and it could be guys that are trying out, the opportunity to know who these people are they're going to work with. You know, if you don't like so-and-so, so-and-so's here. And we're all a part of a big family, and so either you want to come and join our big family and we figure out how to get along, or this is what we have right here. So, so I encourage the high school girls to help, and then we just run all of our middle school and high school auditions at the same time, so that we split them up and we teach them, because we still do a lot of dancing kind of things in the stands. We do all the basketball games with the pep band, and so we have a kind of more of a all-around program. We just don't do weapons. We do other stuff too. So then they learn a school song routine that's like a pom-pom routine that we use in parades, and then they rotate around. They'll learn, I'll call jazz dance, or just, a dance. Could be contemporary or whatever you might want to call it. And then they also do some flag, and we teach them flags. So then so that we're trying to get an all-around idea, and that because we know that some people are going to be stronger, especially when they're newer, going to maybe stronger at one part and the other, and we're always looking for people that we think can learn, and because we feel like we spend enough time together that we can teach them if they're open-minded to that. And so we do the middle school at the same time, and that's really when there's a lot of people will come then to try out, and you just are really looking for the people that you think are going to be interested, because it's really hard as a sixth grader to tell what that student's going to turn out like in 6 years. And so you don't want to turn them away at that point in time. You want to try to get as many. And now with travel softball and travel volleyball and all those things, they're getting those kids that are this high, and they're already gone by the time they get to our activity. So if I have more time, I want to incorporate some more, like maybe an elementary school thing, like maybe you'd have come together, practice 3 or 4 times, and perform at pregame of a football game or something, a JV game or something on that order. So that's a constant, trying to get people involved in the program and where they want to be in the program. And that's, because that's part of the problem sometimes is numbers, just trying to get numbers. Does anybody have any questions on any of that, or ideas about anything? Any way that you do it that, everybody good? Okay, all right. Okay, so like I said, some years are great and some years are a little sketchy, and this past couple of years, they fell into cliques, I'll say, and maybe some of the girls got along better with others, and so we kind of had some problems in that it didn't feel very cohesive. So this season, we have a lot of new people, and we were trying to do something different. And we have always done a program in the last maybe 5 years, not always, but maybe the last 5 years, where it was what I'll call practice families. So as soon as tryouts are done, we name it, and then we get together about 3 times in May so that they can get together, we can get some equipment, get some skills under their belt, so that when they're on their own time, they can practice, have an idea how to practice correctly. Because a lot of times people will teach themselves how to do a rifle, and then once those skills are there, it's really hard to change that sometimes. So we get together about 3 times in May, then we start in June. In our program, we rehearse in June. At the end of June, we put on a show at the local park. They have a huge 4th of July celebration, and the band and the guard takes a night at the park. So that kind of gives us something to work toward during June. We also have some of our marching band music. We get some of the marching drill. And then we try to do some things where they could get to know each other and do some fun things. Like at the very beginning, we went bowling one night. Normally, we don't do some of those things. I kind of leave it up to the girls. But I thought, well, maybe I need to work a little harder at that too, to try to incorporate some camaraderie in the bunch. So we did that. We try to do some fun things at camp. I know you see pictures on Facebook all the time, how they're doing tie-dye Friday and all those kind of things. And I think those are the things that the kids remember, band kids as well as Colorguard kids, that where you can do some kind of fun things that are not rehearsal. And because sometimes I know I get, we're trying to be great, and it's really hard sometimes to take a moment to have fun when to feel like you're working so hard to get to the end result. So we also incorporated this time Big Sisters. We've kind of done that, but it was more like somebody'd say, oh, I want her. And so then once again, it was just the people that know each other. It's not really trying to learn anybody new. So we divided that up, tried to take a different direction on that. The families, these practice families that when we got done in June, I gave them a booklet of rehearsal skills that we had practiced on during June, and even though we've asked them over the years, get together, practice in somebody's backyard, go to somebody's swimming pool, post some pictures here or there, we just went ahead and put them in groups, try to incorporate an older person in that family, a flag, and a rifle that they could help younger members. Now, we're 2 weeks out. I have no idea if a family's gotten together. I have no idea if any part of a family's going to get together. We gave the big sister, little sister, that were people that really weren't friends, and I said, all you have to do is give them a call, shoot them a text, just anything to make these younger people feel like they're a part of the group. Still have no idea. It's really hard to get on there and say, hey, have you called everybody yet or anything? So we're hoping, though, that the older girls in the group, I think, want to have more fun than they had a year ago this time. So I think they're all kind of on board to work at it. So we'll see. We'll see. Then we gave them, when we left at the end of June, we gave them a folder. In that folder, we had everybody's phone number and email accounts. We had a checkoff list that had the skills, and we have like the flag skills, basic skills that we want. We have the rifle basic skills that we want. We have the saber. And then, if you're a flag, if right now you're a flag in the show, because we kind of went all the way through June doing our weapon auditions. We didn't want to just choose it in a day. We went through all the skills and tried to we started out everybody as a beginning level, and then some moved up, some stayed. We went to intermediate and beginning. Then we went on, some moved on up there, and maybe at this time some of those moved there. So that I felt like we had not, sometimes we had rifle auditions, we looked at them, we watched them, we picked them. But they didn't necessarily feel like that they had to know how to do every part that it builds on. So that we tried to do that differently this year, so that, okay, to be a rifle, you have to be able to do this. And to be a saber, you have to be able to do this. And to be on the flag line, you really have to be able to do this, because sometimes after auditions, they're just on, and you're dealing with that. So we did some checkoffs. So in this folder that I sent home were all these lists. So if right now, if I'm a flag, but maybe I want to be a rifle next year, or I want to improve my skills, they're all listed there so I can practice on my own time. If I'm a rifle, I'm going to practice my flag skills and my rifle skills. If I'm trying to be a saber, I've got all of those things that I'm trying to do. So then I asked in July if they would practice 3 days a week to get through, and they only really have to do one section, but however much they want to practice, 3 days a week, or if they're on vacation, maybe it's 5 days another week, or 4, whatever. So that it actually ended up that they picked up their equipment 12 times in July. And then I put a parent signature down there. We've never done it before. I've heard of people doing these kind of things. So we'll see what comes back. I contact them also through a Facebook page. We have a secret page. I'm really careful that I never tag any of the students in those, but that's one of the ways that I can contact them easily. I know I could do a Remind 101, but we have one of those for the band, so I didn't really want to confuse that. So the only people I'll allow on the secret Facebook page is the members themselves, of which a few do not have Facebook. So I would say, okay, if you don't have Facebook, then you need to tell your best friend that does. You have to tell me what's going on. But almost everybody that doesn't have Facebook, their parent has it. They don't have it because their parent didn't let them have it. So then that becomes the adult's responsibility. But then that's also a place where we can put messages like, don't forget to wear your clear strap bra. And it's just a secret place. And I try not to let anybody in except their immediate family so that I can say those kind of things that sometimes are last minute. I have done where I have text groups and all that kind of stuff, and some people don't really have enough space on their phone to do a lot of text messaging. So, it's kind of hard to contact people. Email really doesn't work anymore because just nobody really reads the emails. And we send them, the band sends them as a mass sending, and I think, what do you do? I mean, I know you can do, I always call it chimp monkey and stuff. I don't know what male chimp or something. In small groups so that it doesn't look like it's spam and all those kind of things. You have to work with all the mailing things like that. But that is another way to get a hold of people. Nobody has a regular telephone anymore. So I think that, that's always kind of a challenge to make sure that you do get a hold of everybody. Even though you give out information, a lot of times there's, new things that need to come along. So that, we're practicing in July. We'll get back together in August. Our actual school starts for students August 8th. And so we're going to have like a mini camp August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, something like that. And we just do those at the school. We don't take out to a big band camp. We have done that, but we haven't done that in a long time. So try to get ready for competitions that start whenever they start, September or something. Okay? So that's kind of how we run from tryouts till now. I know some people maybe don't do anything in June. They do all of July, or they start band camp the last week of July and then go in. You know, everybody's school is so different these days. It's really hard to even know what you're going to do from year to year. It changes quite a bit. Somebody have any questions or anything about any of that? Any ideas or anything? No? Okay. At the beginning of auditions, I also give them, there are some things that the students buy themselves. I give them a handout that has all of those things, and it's like a contract. And it'll list like their shoes, the things they have to buy themselves are their shoes, body type, their makeup, an equipment cover, just some of those things, so that we try to work out a payment plan. We actually hand out those prices at tryouts. And then when we get back together, then we start doing measurements and all those things so that we can place those orders. And we actually run those kind of things through the band booster account. I know sometimes you might run it through a school account, but our ECA won't let us run. It's so much money goes through. Everything has to go through there. So we try to give them all that. Also, I do not have captains. I don't run the group with captains. I used to have captains and had great captains, and then the last time I did it was when a girl that was really capable, she didn't make it, and her parents called me. They were in another state, and they called me and told me what they thought, and I was kind of like, this just isn't worth this. There's a lot of great people, so we're just going to share the wealth here. There's not going to be one person that says that. I'm either going to take these seniors or seniors and juniors, or assign duties to people so that everybody has a little bit of the responsibility, but there's not really one that we just pick. Now, of course, it kind of, different people rise to the occasion and maybe take on more duties or just step up or whatever. So that's, we really don't run an officer program. I don't know if anybody thinks that's good or bad or what you do with your own. We have the drum major do quite a bit of things that kind of run the marching bands, and then they have, people that help that person too. So, okay. Anybody? Anything? Okay. During marching band, for us, the marching band purchases those costumes. The costumes change probably pretty much every year, kind of a theme type thing. We probably haven't used a basic school colors with the marching band, for 15 years or something. Now, the great thing about having all these costumes is that people sell these costumes. And but for some reason, I'm not organized enough to get rid of them, so I have like boxes and boxes of stuff. So I did work on, and maybe you guys know about all these places. I didn't really know. I went in and searched on Facebook, and we're through the camp and my computer, we're having some technical difficulties on printing some of the stuff out, but there's one called, this is just a Facebook account, Colorguard Equipment Closet Sale. Does anybody know about that one? Anybody know about any of these? Okay, it's called Colorguard Equipment Closet Sale. There's another Facebook one where people they post pictures of all their things. You can go on there, put the prices out there, or go and look through these to buy something. One's called Colorguard Corner. I found one called Colorguard Questions and Answers. They're all really interesting, and a lot of them are like I'll call it a closed group. You have to ask to join, and they have to let you in. So I thought that was interesting. There's one called Indiana Colorguard Exchange, where people post things. And a lot of these places also post that they're hunting for jobs or they need somebody to work. And I just, because I'm in Indiana, I know about this Indiana one site. But there's also, I'm sure, probably a lot of other states have the same kind of thing. And I just didn't know how to search for it. There was one called Guard Goals, Goals. And so all of those are places besides The guard closet is a used site, or gently used, I should say. The guard room is another one where you can find things besides all your, new places, all your new design places of things. But it looked like a great place, and some of those places also have tarps and things like that. So any way that you can find to save money or find things. Somebody the other day posted that they wanted to do a Dr. Seuss show, and we did one in '92, and I think I've kept almost anything and everything. But I know those costumes from that show, I know that elastic would have dry rot in it. So I was like, okay, well, 92, I can't do that. And then we have some flags, and I'm like, that's a long time ago. That really wouldn't maybe be the right size for now, and some of the things. So I haven't really gotten into that, but I thought that was interesting. So I might have had something that somebody else wanted, and I just saw it because I went on there, was nosing around. So you never know. Same way with a lot of our guard costumes. We did get them. We tried to get them organized, and we're getting ready to go online, and I didn't really know of all these places. And I'm going to put a student in one. And then if I can find a picture of when they were actually on the field or Winter Guard show or whatever, then I thought I would do that too. Maybe I can get rid of some. I mean, it's not making any money laying there. And just like those Dr. Seuss outfits, they're rotten. So, okay. So that's one way to do equipment. I know some people also will just post on their own personal Facebook page, or like the Indiana Colorguard Association, and I would assume a lot of Colorguard associations have the same thing where you can go on like a buy and sell page on that.